This is the best piece of advice that one of my business mentors gave me early on when I moved to a new city. I'm Edwin Cantu, and this is Mentor Moments, insights from mentors, friends, and everyday life. So before we get into it, I want to set the scene. So I had just moved to a new town. I had lived in my previous town and had worked at the university that I had been at for 9 years. It was everything I had known. Since I was 18, I had been living within this structure of a college, working there, had become a professional there, became competent and effective there, had formed a little community that really validated and valued me just as an individual. And this was the first time that I was leaving that town, leaving everyone that I knew, and joining a new community. And when I joined the community, I knew maybe 2 to 3 people there. I was starting from scratch, but I had a job to do. And so I knew what I was there to do was more important than anything else. And so I needed to learn strategies to really start working with people and connect with that community for the first time. I was having a conversation with one of my mentors who has had maybe 20 years of professional experience, is incredibly well connected, has done great work, is a community leader as well as a business leader. And he mentioned, Edwin, one thing that I think is going to take you to the next level is meeting with someone for coffee 1 time a month. And I challenge you specifically because of who you are and the work that you do and the meaning behind your work. If you have time, do it once a week, and I guarantee you your life will change. And so with the challenge, I took it on, and these are the things that I've discovered. First, everyone's human. I started reaching out on LinkedIn and people that I would meet at networking events, and it was incredibly awkward. But I would just connect with them, get to know a little bit about them, and I would mention, hey, I'd love to sit down with you for some coffee sometime. I'd love to get to know a little bit more about your story and just your industry. I'm so new to this environment. I'm new to the business community, and would love to be able to just kind of pick your brain. And people were happy to. I'd sometimes have to get up extra early, maybe 6 a.m., 7 a.m., to meet them somewhere. And at these coffee meetings, the amount of time that more authentic and almost genuine relationships or friendships are built is I think it's bound to happen. You're taking time out of your day to connect with someone, and you're not doing it with any intentions. You just want to learn more, and you want to connect with people. You're in a new community, you're in a new environment, and you can do this anywhere. It's just wanting to connect with people. Because of the industry that I'm in the business advising world, I need to know a lot of lenders, I need to know a lot of lawyers, I need to know a lot of CPAs and accountants, I need to get to know commercial insurance, and I need to know kind of the business infrastructure that is needed with my clients that I work with that are wanting to start businesses. We can work on the product development side, getting their first couple customers, marketing strategies, but oftentimes on the business structure side, where there is a lot of insecurities, we need to give them connections or contact information to other people that can help them along their journey. But the connections and building those up, I had to do that for myself. And I can imagine this applies to everything. If you're someone that's very artistic and you need to connect with people, it's probably important to know who are the curators at museums, and not just because you're trying to get into those, but to understand the overall lay of the land with whatever industry, or if you're purpose driven and you work for a nonprofit or you just want to have a meaningful life. It's important to know the people that are also doing those kind of works. What is your cause that you find meaningful? Obviously, with this channel called Mentor Moments, I really value mentorship. It was critical in my life and in the role that I played at the university. Within the development of our leadership program, it was something that we often talked about, accountability and all these things. But no individual is a silo. No man is an island, I think is the quote. So we need to understand the world that we live in. And the way that we do that, it's just people-based. People make up the world. People create all these things. And so it's important to get to know the people that are really creating the world that's around you. The second thing that I realized, it's rare to find someone whose entire identity is what they do for a living, that is someone that you like being around. With all the lenders, with all the attorneys, with all the CPAs that I've connected with, rarely is the conversation ever just about their industry and what they do. It's almost always about things that we enjoy, things that made the work meaningful, the stories and the narratives that led to us becoming who we are. And then we get down into some of the connections of the in and outs. What do business owners need to know? Something of value that I can take back to my clients and let them know, hey, before you start meeting with attorneys, before you start meeting with lenders, there's some things that we can do here to be better prepared for whenever the time comes to start meeting with CPAs, to start meeting with attorneys. These are some resources that they mentioned that I think would be helpful for a beginner. But in those conversations of getting to know people and going and getting coffee or tea or lunch, it's nice to also be a part of a community that is working to add value to the life of others. And in their own way, every profession is adding value to someone. And almost developing your identity outside of your profession may be common sense to others, but it was something that I actually really struggled with. And so that was one of the learning things that a few of the early conversations people would say, Edwin, it's great that you're a business advisor and I appreciate you asking me very helpful questions, but also it'd be nice to get to know you. Tell me a little bit about your background. What do you like doing? And it was nice to just take off those professional almost chains at times where I thought my only value to the conversations was because I was going to be able to help people be better prepared for whenever they would potentially meet with clients, whenever they were going to meet with attorneys, CPAs, and lenders. I thought that was my value, the informational preparation for so they can have better clients in the long run. And I thought that was the value that I was bringing. But people like getting to know people, especially if you're ingrained in your local community. They want to know other people that are doing the work. You want to know the people that are serving your community the same way that you are trying to. And so being able to take yourself away from just your professional identity to connect, I think is incredibly helpful. It allows you to be genuinely excited to see this person because it's not just the banker. It's the father who's proud of his kids, who goes mountain biking, who went to this school and served his community in this way, who also just happens to have a lot of information in the banking industry and can help clients with loans, but you think of them more as the person first. And so being able, again, to connect person to person, I really do think is part of it's who you know. Well, it also matters a lot on how you got to know who that person is. And then lastly, the follow-up. With any friendships, with any relationships, developing those relationships over the long run. So with friends, the way that we send messages of happy birthday during holidays, checking in on them, just whenever they come to mind after some time, checking in on them, seeing how they're doing. Those professional relationships are also, that's how we cultivate relationships in any arena. So whether you see them at a mixer and the first time you met them, you were a bit nervous, but the second time or third time you meet them, you hug them and they're excited to catch up, and you ask them about their family, their kids, if they've gone on any bike rides or any shows that they're watching. And then it rarely actually becomes about business. It's more about being excited to catch up with the people that you know are doing good work and are good people doing their best to, again, serve their community. So we know it's not just what you know, and we try our best to become the best version of ourselves. It's also who you know and how you got to know who that person is. It's connecting with people. It's the follow-up. The being human and not just being your profession. It's the coffees. It's the lunches. It's the catching up. It's the being human in the business world. It's being human in whatever environment you're in, college, early profession, retirement, and doing nonprofit work and wanting to continue leaving a legacy. It's in all these arenas. It's who you know and how you got to know that who. What do you think? Does this reflect your own experience? Let me know in the comments. And if you watch the whole video, you might as well like the episode and subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for listening.